I would like to welcome everyone again to the yoga practice. We will start the practice today in supine position on the back. So make sure that you are comfortable, especially with the back of the head. If you feeling that your head falling low back, you always should have folded blanket or folded towel to support the back of the head. And we can start with straight legs for now. But if you're not comfortable with straight legs, if you're finding that it's tensing your lower back, welcome to have your knees softly bent and have your arms comfortably slightly away from the hips, maybe even squeezing the shoulder blades to help your shoulders to find there's a natural external rotation that will open your chest. You can have your eyes closed if you like, and from here we'll take a couple of long exhales, like a cleansing exhales, like maybe even a force little bit of those exhales to help you to relax more, to relax the back of your body to the mat. And then just continue with a comfortable rhythmic breath, taking the inhalation through the nostrils, exhaling through the nostrils, without forcing yourself to take too much air in, without forcing yourself to be out of the air on exhale. So the first couple of exhalations and inhalations will be finding the mind on the mat as well, trying to bring the mat to the body, bring the mat to bring the mind to the practice. Maybe you would like to have your own personal intention for this practice. And then as we continue in this supine position, I would invite everybody to bend the knees if you didn't so. Don't bend them too hard, just a little bit, having the feet a little bit apart. That's going to help you to maintain the relaxed position of the lower back. And as we are holding here for a couple of more moments, I want you to scan your spine from the base of it, from the pelvis, all the way toward the base of the skull, and just visualize the spinal column and vertebrae as one system. And just notice where you are touching the floor with the spine and where you have a little bit of a space. Of course, we always saying there should be a bit of a space between the lower back and the mat, and of course natural curve should happen with the neck. And the mid back is the biggest part of the spine that's touching the floor. So just notice how you feel in this area, and just think of those three parts of the spine: the lower back, mid back, and the neck. But at the same time, feel it as the full column here. So then we'll bring the feet a little bit closer, and we'll start here with the waves with a pelvic tilt. So you can have your hands a little bit closer to the hips, like you go to the bridge. And then let's lift the pubic bones, scoop the glutes, and lift the hips as high as you can, but go slow and notice how you're peeling off the mid-back from the mat, but you're maintaining the neck neutral. And then very slowly start putting one vertebra at a time, starting from the mid-back, and then have a moment when your pubic is still tilted and you feel how you placing the lower back flat on the floor, and then when you relax and let the pelvis come to neutral, you're gonna achieve the curve again. Let's do it 2 more times. So lift the hips, take the spine off the floor as high as it feels. Feel like you need to engage the muscles of the back of your body to do that. And then as you come down, notice how you need to engage the abdomen muscles to actually maintain this tilt and press the lower back flat. It's like feels like stretch for the lower back, and then a release and return back to neutral. One more time. I'm encouraging you to do as slow as possible to really notice the movement of the spine. Because we have the floor, and go down slowly. Because we have the floor, we have better reference of actually how the spine curves and release. Let us bend the knees this time and notice how this position, so basically that's tilting your pelvis, gonna bring your lower back flat. And let's extend the arms overhead on the floor. So if you have a bit of a restriction in the shoulders, do your best to maintain elbows straight. And notice how lifting the arms overhead on the floor will push your mid back to get into some extension. You start suddenly feeling how you're stretching this area of the spine. It's like you're making the whole spine flat, except the neck. So that's what I would like you to notice. And then maybe rock the knees from side to side a little bit. And let us release the arms in T position. And then keeping the knees probably 90 degree, holding them together. Drop the knees to the left, all the way to the floor if that's available for you. Keeping toes and knees as close as together as possible. Keep your shoulders on the floor and just notice how you rotate the pelvis off the floor while the upper back stays. And just hold here to gently warm up the spine for twists. So not really going very intense for now. And then let's bring the knees back to the center. Recheck your spine all on the center and drop the knees to the opposite side, to the right. Maybe turning head slightly to the left, keeping the left shoulder down and noticing how feels the twist on the other side. So a twist while we taking the hips off the floor. The part of the spine that allow us to do the twist actually mid back. So check how that feels there. So it's not in your lower back. Your lower back stays with pelvis aligned. And return back to the center. Let's release the feet back on the floor. And this time we're going to take the right arm across the body and maybe even pull the right wrist to the left, like you're taking the shoulder blade off the floor while you don't allow yourself to rotate with the hips. So hip stays flat on the floor. So rotating slightly the upper back, so like peeling the right shoulder blade off the floor, and just to notice how that feels. In terms of where in the spine you are performing this twist. And then return back to the center. We'll do, of course, the other side. So taking the left arm across and pull it to the right and peeling your left shoulder blade off the floor. And again, you're not allowing the left hip to come off, right? So you're trying to keep your pelvis as flat as it was when we were lying on the floor, on the back, and then release the arm back here. And let us keep the arms now up toward the ceiling. So let us try to do protraction and retraction of the shoulders in this position on the floor. So your knees are bent, so your neutral spine here. And let's reach with the tip of the fingers up toward the ceiling. So you're taking the shoulder blades off the floor, right? So feeling how you're slightly rounding your upper back. And then squeeze the shoulder blades. Like think of taking the space between the shoulder blades off the mat but try to avoid too much of extension in your lower back. So maintain it as neutral as you're able to control. And then again, move the tip of the fingers up. So taking the shoulder blades off the floor. And then press them together and try to lift the space between the shoulder blades. But what I know what happened in your body is your rib cage lifted as well. So maintain it as neutral. So just the shoulder blades. One more time. Reach up toward the ceiling and then press and squeeze the shoulder blades, but control your lower back to be neutral. And release. Let's bring the knees to your chest and then start rocking from the head to the hips. And then maybe on third or fourth, come into seated position. And as you came to the seated position, let's change position to the tabletop. So we'll continue with our spinal manipulation in the tabletop position. So now we have a spine free from any support, but our reference will be knees and hands. So create this rectangle form on the mat with these four corners and let us round the spine. Drop the head, tug the tailbone, and now you know how you should feel in the shoulder blades, right? It's very similar to what we just did when we were reaching with the tip of the fingers toward the ceiling. Drop the head, tug the tailbone, and then very slowly, vertebra by vertebra, come into the dog stretch. We're squeezing the shoulder blades like exactly how you just did on the floor, but this time, yes, you allowed to take your belly down, take your tailbone up, so you're extending also in the lower back. Let us just flow here a couple of more times on your own pace, connecting this movement with your breathing. So usually on inhale we come to this extension, and then on exhale we come into the cat stretch with a rounded spine. And of course here in the cat stretch you might feel some part of the spine, not actually part of the spine, it will be the muscular tension that you feel along the spine. Yes, some muscles that support the spine might feel a bit tight here. So just warm them up. Let us do one more here. And as we came to neutral position, we'll take the knees wide, press the hips and stretch the arms forward into the child pose, but this is active child pose. So remember we did knees to the chest, arms overhead on the back, right? And we felt how their thoracic spine was stretched. Here we have a little bit more of mobility for the shoulders, but you might not achieve the same stretch, sensations of stretch in thoracic spine. Here you might feel more stretch around the lower back. So just play with this position. You might want to adjust your knees or adjust your hands. Whatever you feel here, just notice. Taking another exhale, and let's return back into the tabletop position to take the right arm under the chest. And then we're going to bring the head down, adjust the left hand to support, and having the right arm stick to the floor, use a little bit of a left arm strength to kind of push yourself backward to create the sense of stretch in the upper back. And this one is definitely a bit different than we did on the floor, right? Because we don't have a spine flat, so a more sensation of twist here. And then release. Set yourself back in neutral for the moment. Feel the difference between the right and the left shoulder blade. And let's go to the other side. Take your left arm down, slide it, and press the floor away, rounding here the upper back. I feel much less tension on this twist than on the right. That is normal for me. My right side is dominant and much tighter. And let's release. Get yourself back into the tabletop, and then step your hands a little bit forward, preparing for the downward dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up, and let yourself to find the distance between hands and feet. Shake your head and make sure that you are just allowing the spine to create a structure here. So head is pulling the spine down. So this is neutral position for the spine, but just upside down. Taking another exhale, and then look forward and walk toward your hands, and then just hand here for the moment, rocking from side to side a little bit, stretching a bit of our legs, and then slowly vertebrae by vertebrae come up into the standing position. So take a moment here in standing position, and let us interlace the hands in front of the chest and lock your hips with engaged legs and glutes, and let us twist to the right slowly, come to the center, twist to the left. And as you're twisting, I want you to create this twist in the upper back. So you're not moving your hips. So it feels like you are squeezing the spine just in the midsection. Go really slowly, and notice if with a warm-up your twist increased, and you can go a little bit further. So let us go one more time to the left and to the right. And then we'll return to the center. And here we're going to take the arms straight. So we're going to do the same movement, but now just draw the line from one palm to another palm. And as you twist, stop here. So notice how like your shoulders will be now involved more. If you have a tight shoulder, your right shoulder kind of holding you from rotating. And stop here and keep your shoulders relaxed. Hold. So a little bit more of like applying the strength of the muscular strength to the upper back. Return back to the center and go to the other side. Still control your hips facing the screen that you're looking. And notice how now if you have a tension in your left shoulder, if your thoracic spine tend to be a little bit rounded, your left shoulder now stopping you. And stop where you just have one straight line. Return back to the center. We'll do it one more time. This time I want you to make a fist, maybe even slightly bend your elbow so your biceps are really working here. And twist to the right. And just apply a little bit of the muscular strength here to rotate. Feel like you're working now with the core muscles to rotate here. Return back to the center. And then go to the left. And again, hold your fist strong. So find that from the fist, arms engaged and your upper back engaged here. And of course your glutes are working to lock your hips. Return back to the center and just shake your arms. Great. So let us move hips from side to side. So this is the first lateral flexion that we're practicing today. So just first warm up your lower back. Lower back loves to go into side bends. It's great, and then we're gonna stop and we're gonna do the same for the neck. So dropping the ear from side to side, and notice which side may be tighter. So go for one more time. And then return back to the center. And now let us go to the side bend. So move your hips to the left, but keep your head not collapse into the right ear, but maintain like a nice curve here. And you can use your right hand to push the hips to the left more. And if you're comfortable, you can take your left arm up or even over the head opening the whole left side of the body. And then when you found your position, let us go into 3 arm circles. So just let your left arm to come across the face, chest, hips, and back up into external rotation. So notice how you internally rotate your shoulder here, and then rotate here externally, come up, and let's release. And we'll go other side. So move your hips to the right. Take your head with you, but don't drop. Don't drop. Work a little bit on the strengthening the neck muscles here. And if you're comfortable, take your right arm up. So just increase a little bit the stretch on the right side of the body. And let's here go into our arm circle. So take your right arm across the hip and up. Notice how your shoulder moving here. So internal rotation of the shoulder, arm goes in front of the chest, and then here you rotate back into external rotation. Usually we don't have any problem with internal rotation, but here we might feel the restrictions. And let's release. Okay, shake your arms, and now we'll go into the sun salutation. The movements that contain the fold forward and back bend. We're going to have a little bit more back bends today in the sun salutation. So with the first inhale, lift your arms up. And then bring your gaze up toward the ceiling. Reach with the tip of the fingers toward the ceiling. Squeeze the glutes and push the hips slightly forward to open the chest. So don't collapse to the lower back, but think more of a lifting the chest up. Come into your first back bend of today. Stretching the front of the body. And then bring the palms together, hinging from the hips. So coming through the neutral position of the spine to go all the way down into the fold forward. Shaking the head and feeling the stretch on the back of the legs. Then bring the hands to the shins, return back into the neutral position. So if you need to have your hands even higher than the knees, that's fine, as long as you maintain in neutral position. Bring your left hand across the right knee, bring the right hand to your lower back and twist to the right. Shoulders move away from the ears. On exhale, return back to the center, go on opposite. When you do that, maintain your knees hip distance, so don't take your knees together. Try to keep the knees aligned. Bring the left hand to your lower back and twist to the left. Very good. I see straight spine, exactly what I am looking for. Exhale, return back to the center, and let's again fold forward very passively, drop the head down. And then very slowly, vertebra by vertebra, let's roll up into standing. We're going to do one more exactly like that. Inhale, lift the arms up. And then lift the gaze up and think of stretching of the front of the body rather than back bend. So feel even a little bit of a quads, hip flexors, belly, and then chest and shoulders. And bring the palms together. Hinge into half fold, neck comes neutral, and then from the hips fold forward passively, making sure that you're not locking your knees, body weight distributed equally, and then bring your hands up below the knees, on the knees, above the knees, as long as you neutral spine. Bring the left hand against the right knee, right hand to your lower back, twist. Keep shoulders coming away from the ears, or maybe you can even feel how you squeeze the shoulder blades a little bit to take your right shoulder back. Exhale, return back to the center. Bring the right hand on the knee, left hand on the lower back, twist to the left. Feel that your head is pulled forward, so you're maintaining neutral spine. Exhale, come back to the center. Fold all the way down, exhale, and very slowly, as slow as you can, notice how the spine become a warmer, like the muscles along the spine warmed up, and you hopefully don't feel any tension right now. Exhale. Let's go a little bit further with that. Inhale, lift the arms up. Let's again come into slightly back bend. Keep using your glutes to support the lower back. Exhale, folding forward all the way down. And then step your left foot back, drop the left knee down to the floor, and lift the torso up. You are in a 90-90 lunge, so you're in a neutral spine position. We'll take the arms to the side and twist to the right for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Return back to the center. Bring the hands to the floor, tuck the toes. Exhale, come into downward dog. You might need to adjust the distance between hands and feet so your downward dog is not too short but not too long as it's a neutral spine. Exhale. Let's drop the knees down to the floor and step the left foot forward. So again, this is the 90-90 lunge. A neutral position, taking the arms parallel to the floor, twist to the left, and I'll go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Return back to the center. Bring the hands on the floor. Step into downward dog. Exhale. Every time you're in a downward dog, allow yourself to shake your head a little bit. Make sure that you're not tensing the back of your neck. Remember, we talk the spine is a 3-part and include the neck. And very often we just keeping the chin too high and all the back neck muscles are compressed. Look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Bring the hands on the shins, lift the chest halfway, and this time come into chair pose, body weight on the heels. Maintain the neutral spine position. Try to sit low. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From the heels, press yourself up. Inhale, exhale. Bring the arms on both sides of the hips. Let's go again. Inhale. We still have this back bend here on the start of the sun salutation today. Exhale, folding forward, hands on the floor. Stepping the left foot back. This time, you're welcome to come into wider, comfortable lunge. So the knee goes slightly back, lift the torso up. So move the left hip forward. Have your right hand on the hip. Take your left arm up and come into side bend. So as you push in the left hip forward, you're also opening the whole left side of the body. So side bend in the lunge position. Little bit different position for the hips, and just notice that your side bend feels different. Exhale. Let's bring the hands to the floor, tuck the left toes and step into the downward dog. Exhale. Let's have another exhale here before we're going to drop the knees down to the floor and step in the left foot forward. Something comfortable, something steady. Left hand on the hip, right arm up, and come into side bend to the left. And this side stretch feels more into the area of the hips. So feel that you're pushing the hip forward and opening the right side of the body. Bring the hands on the floor, tuck the toes, and step into the downward dog. Exhale. On next inhale, flow into plank. Let us hold the plank for 5 breaths. And you are protracting your shoulder blades. That means that the space between the shoulder blades slightly puffed. You squeeze your glutes so you have a little bit of the pelvic tilt here to engage the abdomen. Remember how in the very first movements today, we noticed to keep the pelvis this way, we need to engage the abdomen muscles. And then exhale, come into the downward dog. On next inhale, look forward, walk to the front of the mat. Have here another exhale, and then let us slowly, vertebra to vertebra, roll up into standing position. Exhale. So taking the breath, we'll continue to add to our flows. Inhale, reach up. Maybe a little bit in the back bend, opening the chest, lifting the chin, gaze slightly up. Exhale, folding forward, passive fold. Stepping the left foot back into lunge. This time it's a high lunge, left knee is off the floor. Lift to the torso up. Take a moment to ground yourself equally through both feet. Have your right hand on the lower back. Take the left arm up, palm facing front, and come into gentle back bend. But again, this back bend is more about the upper back rather than lower back. So your right hand is just checking that you are comfortably, you're not jamming your lower back. You're trying to open the chest. On exhale, bring the hands down to the floor. I hope you can reach the block and bring the block onto the left hand. Bring the right hand to your thigh and start twisting to the right. You can have the right hand on the knee, you can have a right hand on the lower back, or you can take a right arm up. And hold. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's release and step into the downward dog. Exhale. Taking another exhale, flowing into plank, holding this plank for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees down to the floor and come all the way down. Exhale. So here is our first prone back bend. So let us have a hands on the corners of the mat, just like a cactus pose here. Have your legs slightly separated, but engage your glutes and have your strong legs. Toes are staying on the floor. Lift the torso up, maintaining the shoulders down, elbows slightly soft. So as you lifted your torso, make sure that you also engage in the lower abdomen. It's like you're taking your belly button off the floor, and notice how that creates support for this spinal extension. Exhale, come down. Bring the hands on the sides of the rib cage, tug the toes. Exhale into the downward dog. On next inhale, having the right foot closer to the midline, stepping the left foot forward into lunge. Taking time to maintain the balance here, lift the torso up. Bring the left hand to your lower back, take your right arm up, palm facing the front, open the chest. Again, I want you to feel how the posterior chain muscles supporting this extension, right? The same is on the floor, a little bit more intense. Here, your right leg in the same position that we are on the floor, and keep opening the chest. Restrictions could come into shoulders because here in thoracic spine. Exhale, bring the hands on the floor. Step into the downward dog. Exhale. On next inhale, flow into plank. Squeeze the glute, push the floor. Then drop the knees and come all the way down. Exhale. This time we're coming into cactus pose. Hands could be even on the floor, a little bit wider. And you, again, working with the strong legs, you first use your hands to just help yourself, assist yourself to come into the back bend. And maintain your neutral neck. So think of a neck as a part of this curve. Hold the abdomen engaged and then lift your forearms off the floor. Make sure elbows are not coming to the rib cage. They stay in cactus. The hands could be on the sides of the ears, maybe even lower, but keep squeezing the shoulder blades, finding the strength of the upper back. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands on the sides of the rib cage, chin to the chest. Exhale, finding your downward dog eventually. You might always go through the cat stretch between the back bend and downward dog. In downward dog, you're practicing the neutral spine. Exhale. On next inhale, look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Bring the hands on the shins and lift the chest halfway, and then unfold all the way up. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the arms on both sides of the hips. Taking the breath here. And we'll come to one more flow. Inhale. Opening the chest on another inhale. Exhale, hinging from the hips, coming very slowly, very carefully from one position of the spine to other position of the spine. Hands on the shins, lift the chest halfway here. touch the floor and step the left foot back. And this time, try to go wider. So as low lunge as you can achieve with a strong left leg, lift the torso up. And then from here, just think of this point here on the hip flexion and come into the neutral spine position. Use your back leg for the support. Bring your arms first to the back, interlace them and squeeze the shoulder blades. Neck is in neutral position, so think from the left heel to the crown of the head should be one straight line. Hold here. And then bring the hands to the floor and step into downward dog. Exhale. On inhale, flow into plank. Drop the knees and come all the way down. Exhale. For this one, we're going to bring the arms on the side, and as we lift the torso, we're going to lift the palms off the floor. Feel how your triceps are assisting you here to pull the chest off the floor. How shoulders want to be in internal rotation, and you're trying to push them into external rotation. Then bring the hands on the sides of the hips. Shoulders, so from this position with extended arms into this position, shoulders not changing any alignment. And then tuck your toes, exhale into the downward dog. Long spine, shake your head, exhale. On next inhale, step your left foot forward. Again, try to go and a little bit wider lunge that you did before, and lift the torso up. Engage your back leg and then fold forward, interlace the hands, pull the arms back, hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands on the floor and step into downward dog. Exhale. On next inhale, let us step the left foot forward again and pick up the block. I believe we didn't do this twist on the other side. So bring the right hand down and use the left hand to twist yourself. And then you can have your left hand on your lower back or take the left arm up. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's release and step into downward dog. Exhale. Long spine. Taking another exhale, look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Bring the hands on the shins, lift the chest halfway, and let's come to another chair pose. Just activating the legs a little bit. And in the chair pose, I want you to check that you're not extending too much. Maintain the neutral spot, even if it means that your hips are a little bit higher. And then press from the heels up. Exhale, bring the arms on both sides of the hips. Shake your legs. Okay, so let us practice a couple of standing poses. We'll start the one that calls Warrior 3, Warrior C, or sometimes it's balance and stick. So bring the body weight to your left foot, bend your right knee, and hinge from the hips. Neutral spine, and then extend the right leg. Neck is neutral. You're looking down to the floor. So you can stay here. You can take one arm forward or both arms forward and hold. Keep engaging your back of the body. So both legs working really hard on the hamstrings, glutes holding the belly in, maintaining neutral spine, and shoulders are relaxed. Hold and then lift the torso up and release the leg. Okay, let's go other side. Bring the body weight to the right leg, bend your left knee and fold forward in neutral position. Then press the heel back, and then when you're ready, take your arms forward and hold. So make sure you're not rotating with the hips. Hip stays flat here. Your standing knee is a bit soft. That's how you're engaging the hamstring even more. And come all the way up. Exhale. So now when we have our back of your body really warmed up, we're going to go into a dancer pose. And with a dancer pose, you try not to jam your lower back, but maintain nice curve. So bring the body weight to the left leg and reach to your right ankle. You can open the palm facing the ceiling if it's working for you, or just hold the ankle the way that your wrist allows you. Take your left arm up, and this is your starting point. Try to keep your knees together, so don't let your right knee to be in the front. From here, having the left knee a bit soft, you push the foot into the palm and keeping chest open, letting the right shoulder to be in external rotation by pushing the right foot into the right palm. Open yourself here. Keep chest open for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the knees together and then release. Shake your legs and let's practice the other side. Find your strong standing leg, bend your knee, reach to ankle, maybe holding the palm up. So feel here that you pushing your left shoulder into external rotation. Keep your knees together, take your right arm up. So maintaining this open chest position, having the right knee slightly soft. Start pressing the left foot into the left palm, and with that, pushing yourself backward while you slightly folding forward for balance. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. First, bring the knees together, hold for a moment, and then release. Great. So as we are in a back bend, we're going to come to the knees. Come to the knees and we'll practice the camel pose. So for now, you know exactly how you support your lower back and how you're stretching the front of the body in a back bend. So we'll start with a moderate position. We'll bring the hands to the hips, and before you're going to continue with the pose, you're engaging your glutes and engaging the lower abdomen muscle, and start pushing the hips forward. And while you're lifting the gaze up, you think more of this lift of the chest up. Neck is in a neutral, so you're not collapsing with the head. And just, you might stay very moderate here, feeling just a stretch of the front of the body, creating nice arch of your spine instead of jamming to the lower back. So like you want to create hair space between the vertebrae in your mid-back. Squeeze the shoulder blades. So you're trying to rotate the shoulders back. It's not easy for that. Thoracic spine is not very happy here. And release back. Exhale. So without going forward, we're going to try to increase, but if you feel that this is enough for you, stay within this pose. Have your left hand on your lower back for support. And again, squeeze your glutes, engage your lower abdomen, push the hips forward, start opening the chest, and take your right arm up and back. You're taking it back as much as a shoulder allows you, shoulder cuppy raise. If you're finding that it's too intense for your neck, you can have your right hand to support the head. That might even create some stretch for the neck. You can work with this position and push more of the heart up toward the ceiling. And release. We'll go to the other side, bringing the right hand to the lower back. Squeeze the glutes, press the hips forward, start opening the chest. You can take your left arm overhead. Continue to think of this hook that attached to the sternum, this big bone on the chest, and pulls you up. Right, so not your belly coming forward, but chest comes up. And again, you might hold your head with your left hand. It's fine. It's also Gives you opportunity here to work with a shoulder extension and release. So from here, you're welcome to practice the first version or both arms up, or if you want to try to go to the full version, you can try to reach to your heels, but it's not necessary. So you start opening the chest up and maybe reaching to the heels and press yourself forward. And very slowly release. Let's very slowly drop the hips. It's a very intense pose. If you're reaching the hips, just bring the hands to the floor, around the spine. Allow the heart rate to return back to normal. Allow the lower back to rest here. Exhale, and let's come into seated position. Let us have both legs up straight, and do your best to get to the front of the seat bones to maintain the neutral spine. And let us just walk the fingers forward, keeping the feet flexed. So you are reaching up to the sky with the crown of the head. You're trying to avoid the rounding in your spine. You maintain in neutral. So this is the hip hinge that we're practicing on standing, but on standing we always have opportunity to bend your knees. You also have opportunity to bend the knees here if you have a very tight hamstring and they're pulling your lower back down. So you can bend your knees just a little bit and see how that comes. You're gonna be able to reach to your shins and pull yourself forward even more. Maintain neutral spine. Maintain neutral neck position, so don't lift your chin too high. Maintain it here, like crown of the head goes up. Pull yourself. So that's exactly what we do on standing, right? We have a hand somewhere below the knees. So here in a seated position, you might reach to your shins with a slightly bent knees. They're not very highly bent. And then let's release. So separate your legs and shake them. Make sure your legs are now relaxed, and then just fold forward naturally and keep your arms. So now you're not pulling yourself forward, but you're just moving forward as much as passively you're able to go. Drop the head. You will feel a lot more intense stretch. So in the passive stretch, you might feel more intense stretch because you're now relaxed and you passively stretching the tissues of the back of your body. Those that worked so hard to support us today in all the back bend that we performed. So just hold here. It's also a calming effect from all the back bends that we practice. So you would like to have those contour pose here. Exhale. Taking another exhale, and then let's come all the way up. We'll bend the right knee. If you like to lift your hips with a block, you're more than welcome to lift the hips with a block. And press yourself here nicely long, and then reach to the right knee with the left hand. Use the right arm for support and twist to the right. And now just in this twist, remember how we were twisting, having the hands interlaced or arms straight. So maintain the same alignment for the shoulders. So don't go with the left shoulder forward. Keep chest open. Close your eyes and try, while you apply a little bit of the power here to twist, you're still trying to be relaxed in the spine. Focus on exhalation. And return back to the center. Let's change. Bend your left knee. Doesn't need to be extremely bent. What feels right for the knee. Interlace, and first just press the chest into the thigh. Maintain neutral spine, then hug the knee. Bring the left arm behind and twist. And again, you can close your eyes and just think of relaxation. Control your right shoulder from being tense. And unfold back to the center. And from here, we'll come into the supine position again. And let us practice the passive traction for the lower back. Here, for this one, you will need the block. We'll start with lifting the hips with the block and making sure that the edge of the block supporting the top of the sacrum, so your lower back is hanging in this open space. Feet are comfortably wide, not too wide, and take your arms to the side. You can, for this one, you can have a palms down or up, whatever feels better for you. So just allow a little bit of the passive traction of the spine here, and you can stay in this height. If you feel that this is good enough for you, you can lift the block. So to lift in the block, you can bring the heels a little bit closer, and you can lift the block to the medium side. Medium side usually will still maintain the neutral spine, and I'm not recommending to go higher than that. So when you come in here, you think of a pubic bone lifted, so slightly pelvic tilt. That's going to create more traction of the spine. And we'll hold it here for 2 minutes. Here you might feel that you want to adjust the arms. So for me, it feels more natural if my arms will go T, as that's going to give me more extension of the shoulders here, so external rotation, rather than when my arms here, they're internally rotate. I don't like to have my shoulders internally rotate. I'm spending enough time on the seated on the chair in front of the desk, so I want to work more on the chest stretch rather than compression here, and just allow the body weight to work on the spinal traction here. So just hanging here in the space. You can have your eyes closed and just focus on exhalation for this pose. We'll have here another 5 exhales. And then you would probably come to the tippy toes to lift the hips. First, we're going to drop the block to a lower level and have a moment here. So not right away to the floor. Go to the lower level. Feel how like you don't even feel any intensity here, and only then release the block. Slowly bring your lower back down. Before we're going to go with the knees to the chest, we're going to stretch the hamstring. I would show you one variation that it might not work for you if you have a very tight hamstring. I want you to flex your foot and place the block on the foot. So if your knee is not straight, the block probably will be falling. If it's falling, no worries, just keep your leg straight, right? And the other leg, the left leg, is just bent. So keep pressing your heel into the block if you're using, or keep pressing the heel up toward the ceiling. And here with a bent left knee, you have more opportunity to control that your lower back is in neutral. and just active. So this is the active stretch. You're not pulling the leg, you're using the leg muscles to stretch the hamstring, to activate that. And let's hold that. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees, reach to the block, and bring the right foot down. And let's try to do it with the left. So you will press the block up, and you need to actively flex your feet to hold the block. You need to actively stretch the knee, pressing it up, and maintain a neutral spine. So in this particular position with the block, you probably will not round in the lower back. You're not going to practice the pelvic tilt here because the leg have to be exactly perpendicular to the floor. Otherwise, the block will fall on you. So keep pressing and keep breathing normally here. While it's a lot of work for the left hamstring. Left calf, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knee, reach to the block, release it, and then let's bring the knees to the chest. Now you can massage the lower back a little bit. Again. And then we'll come into cat pulling the tail, if you remember that. So I will demonstrate. So you're moving the hips a little bit to the left side of the mat, and you will take your left leg across. You're welcome to use the block to support your left shin. And then you're trying to reach to your right ankle, and then just hold here to position where it feels comfortable. So feeling some stretch in the right quadricep, passive twist, no really alignment for this twist. Relaxing the left shoulder as much as possible, the right ankle pulling the left arm. Head is in a comfortable position, slightly back, slightly forward, whatever you feel right. And let's hold here. Focus more on exhalation, focus more on being passive in this pose. Let's have here 3 more exhalations. And then release first your ankle, bring the right leg straight, and very slowly roll back to the center, and allow yourself to rest on the midline of the mat before you go to the other side. So let's just all the tissues return back to normal direction, and then let's go to the other side. So you will move your hips slightly to the side of the mat. Bring your right knee or shin on the block if that's working for you. Bend your left knee and reach to the ankle, and then just allow the right shoulder to be dropped back. You'll feel a lot of a stretch for the quadriceps here, and feel stretch for the right shoulder. You passively pulling this into external rotation. And try to relax and just be with your breath. Another 5 exhales. And release your right ankle. And here again, we're coming to the midline to just rest first. And then we'll lift the legs and arms and shake them. Shake them active, shake them hard. And then just bring your legs and arms down to the floor for Shavasana. So as you preparing yourself for Shavasana, make sure that you are aware of the back of the head position and pelvis position. If you're finding that your pelvis need to be adjusted with a bending knees, more than welcome to do so. Again, squeeze the shoulder blades a little bit. Keep chest open. Close your eyes. And try to maintain your mind, observing the body, observing the breath, rather than taking you away from the practice. It's not completed yet. You want to have this mindful stillness, mindful doing nothing, mindful relaxation. You might feel that the heart rate elevated slightly today from the old back bends we practice. So try to calm it down with focusing on exhalation. When you're ready, add the gentle moves and fingers and toes. Start bending your knees, your elbows. Maybe rocking from side to side till you're ready to come to the side of the body and come into seated position. It could be cross-leg position, it could be a different position. Take your hands to the knees and allow yourself to get length in your spine. Bring the hands in front of the heart. Thank yourself for being able to be on the mat and take in this positive energy that we created and shared to be your guide through the rest of the day and through the rest of the weekend. Namaste.